Hello, my name is Brittany. I would like to welcome you to the final stage of the design process for the tile-based project. For my design chose to create a challenge puzzle game. The reason for the choose was to create something that was similar or close to other puzzle maze games out there. And this project put my skills to the test at that point. To begin with, the first stage of the game was to create a projectile trap. So the idea that came to mind was a turret cannon, which is shown by the block. How this design was created was to be able to fire a projectile and hit the player. But there was one thing that did not work right, but I was still able to make use of it. The one thing that failed with this design was that the projectile does not show up. The other, I was going to have a health bar that lowers once the player gets hit by the projectile by 5 points. But that never worked as well. The next stage of the project was to fix and redo up a design for the spike trap. See, at the beginning of the process I had the spike trap able to work. But one of the downside was the timing was off for the spike to hit the player. I was able to fix some of the bugs from the begin stages, but still have some failures at that point. One of the failures was the time still, along with the unable to do damage to the player. One thing that I plan to do is make this design work in the near future, since I plan to expand on my work with this design. The next level is known as the trap floor level. You see, in this level the player must walk through the maze without hitting the bright red tile, or you will have to restart it at that point. I did have one downside that turned out as a nice addition to add to the project. As I'm running through this play though, take note that the brick red tile are disappearing as you walk near or on top of them, to make the player look like they are walking on air. I thought that to be a problem as I tried to work with it. But in the end I was a nice addition to add to the design. Also, I did have trouble testing the level while I was play testing my design several times. But I know that we all have had that problem before. And know that it just makes things fun, know that we have stumped ourselves in the process of creating our work. The one is known as the trap door. With this design, I went with a simple design. With that I create a door that can be opened by the pressure plate. This design was easy to create and only had one downside to it. The timing to the player to step on the plate and have the door open is a bit off. I have tried many times to fix that, but each time it just seems to not work. So I kept the design as it is, and will be planning to try and fix it along with all the other design.